Let's face the devil that is corruption heads on today's edition of Richard Mwenja Exclusive. It's always a pleasure to have you on board. Prof is here with me, looking fantastic, colorful, his face glowing. How are you doing today?
I'm thanking God for every single day.
You thanking God?
Of course.
A true Muslim?
Yes.
All right, Prof. You've always been a very loud voice when it comes to saying it is high time we deal with corruption for once and for all. But you say it starts from the top. Our leaders have shown us that they go into these leadership roles for primitive accumulation of wealth and not really to serve the people. But hey, let's just look at the latest development when it comes to our fight against graft. Former Samburu Governor Lenol Kulal has just been acquitted of his corruption charges, and so has former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero. But there is a section of Kenyans who are saying there's a real danger. We cannot be seeing these acquittals back to back. Well, of course, the court says the prosecution never submitted enough evidence that could have made them maybe go to jail or being considered as corrupt officials. But Prof, are you concerned with the back-to-back acquittals in the first place?
It started the moment Ruto came to power. Charges were withdrawn against people facing corruption charges and so on and so forth. But these are global things. Those in power always protect their people. Only this week you saw people being discharged or what in America. Yeah. The Gilani and the rest were Trump's friends and so on. Unless systems that give power to those in authority to interfere with the judicial processes or to have the power to acquit, like in America, discharge, and so on and so forth. Such systems are prone to abuse. Yeah. So you need to run systems that are watertight. Systems where you may be the prime minister, but you have no power over what the judiciary has done. But in presidential systems, sometimes you find the president. You see, the president is head of government. And as head of government, he's equal and almost at par with other arms of government, the judicial and legislature. But he's also head of state. That gives the president extra powers, and he can, even remotely if you wish, interfere with the judicial processes.
Tilt the scales of justice?
Yeah. So when you are designing a constitutional order, you have to be very careful with what systems you are trying to emulate. If you look at our constitution 2010, it borrowed heavily from America and South Africa. South Africa in terms of human rights and what have you, civil rights, including some of them that we can't mention today. America in terms of the system and the presidential system. Even without moving to the parliamentary system, which is very challenging, which is a bit difficult in our circumstances. You can borrow a lot from what's happening in parliamentary systems. The UK, Japan, these other places where Italy. The power of those systems lie in the fact that those at the head of government have very little chance to interfere with what goes on in the public service, in the judiciary, and so on and so forth. And that is something we need to borrow. But so long as we run systems like ours, if you are our looker and you have been sentenced to 70 years, I don't know how many years, or a fine of I don't know how many hundreds of millions, all you need to do is jump into Jubilee.
Like John, what's the name? Waluke?
Yeah, and then Uhuru will facilitate your freedom. If you are Samburu governor, you just attend the president's rally. And I'm not saying that's what happened. Nobody should get me wrong. I'm looking at a system. And I've cited even the most powerful system. Kenyans rarely follow the ways what somebody is saying. They pick what they want and then run with it. Ambia Ruto, unaona vile Manyora anasema.
They twist it.
They just out of context. I'm saying even in America this week. I'm not saying last year. I'm not saying last month. I'm saying this week. Kina Gulani, so they were, yeah.
However, Prof,
because they are friends to Trump.
Sure.
So if you borrow a system, know that if there's a system that gives the president or the prime minister power to interfere or influence judicial outcomes, you have to find a way of dealing with it. So you come so it is, I'm giving Luke as an example. He only needed to jump to Jubilee and he was out.
Yeah.
The Samburu governor who was
all
seen in
collapsed.
President Ruto's
Rally there.
rally recently.
And he said 2 term.
Now he's safe. People say Kidero is Ruto's president, friend.
Sure.
I'm not saying the president has interfered, but engineers will also tell you, observe patterns. Patterns tell a story. Because the moment the president came to power, people who had serious cases hanging over their heads had those cases withdrawn, one after the other.
Lack of
And
sufficient
some of
evidence.
them, including a person facing serious investigation and possibly charges over tax
Evasion.
was not only
Acquitted.
served and acquitted,
But also,
he was put in charge of KRA or something like that. So these are patterns, and they don't tell a very good story. Because the moment you touch on, Parliament can be as useless as our Parliament is. The executive may be wrong, and we pray ours is not wrong. We are happy. Hatujafikia mahali pa Samia Suluhu Hassan. So we are okay. But it can be wrong. But what you can't afford to play with is the judiciary. You can live with a wrong executive. Then you can change it after 5 years. You can live with a wrong parliament, useless parliament, and then change a few after 5 years. The judiciary first, you can't change them after every 5 years. They are more permanent. The security of tenure.
True.
If a judge is young, is 45, is 50, you live with him until he's 70. You can't just walk there and remove him. The process of removal is so tedious, so difficult, that you can finish 100 years without removing one. That's one of the reasons why we should not touch the judiciary. But more importantly, judiciary is the last refuge, the last hope when people are frustrated and disappointed. They can run to the judiciary for arbitration, to remove somebody from office, to have a right, a wrong, righted or corrected, to separate two people who are fighting over something. So nobody should interfere with the judiciary. And I'm doing an article. I've written it. I was looking for things from what has happened. I'm actually roping in the mafia and the Japanese warrior system to make it relevant.
That analogy?
Yeah, because I'm saying that article, you must know one of the reasons why mafia came into being and why mafiosos have been successful in places like Colombia and what have you, and drug balance. They are always protecting society.
For the people.
Because now our judiciary seems to be for the rich. If you and I are arrested, the chances of ending up in that area are very high. But if the rich are arrested, they are given mattresses in Mudavadi police station.
For just 2 nights.
Yeah, the same night. And tomorrow they are given very nice bail terms. With all the lawyers in suits and good English.
Yeah. Handstand Umari.
And the small man. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
I get the point.
If you take your case to court, Yangu accident,
Yeah.
2018 up to now is in court.
Haven't been paid yet?
And when they give the award, you say even the money I used
as legal fees.
Not even legal fees. Money I use even, sometimes I'm in Western, I'm supposed to come I take a flight. So, there's no justice for the small person. And the rich get away with anything and everything. What happens finally, people have lost faith in the judiciary. Mukikosana na mtu unachukua tu panga over land, because land cases, my mother's land case started when I was in primary school.
Took how many years?
Telling me it's still there. My mother died many years ago. The mother died, the father died, everybody died. My mother died and the sister. So next time you have a land case, what will prevent people from taking a panga? And they're already doing it.
Even with digitization of the judiciary,
Mtu anachukua tu
the
panga
land
anakata mtu.
ministry.
Mtu anakata mtu. Because you can't be helped by the judiciary. Going to court in this country is a waste of time.
Doesn't operate blindfoldedly.
I'm seeing at Nairobi Hospital, we are at Nairobi Hospital. It's about a hospital. It's about people dying.
Not about money.
And the disputes in a place like a hospital, like a Nairobi Hospital, ought to be handled quickly and fairly.
Expeditiously.
Yeah, expeditiously and fairly, judiciously, but expeditiously too. And fairly. And justice ought to be seen to be done. Because as you dilly-dally with the cases in the judiciary over a hospital like Nairobi Hospital, there was another one in Nakuru, I think. People are dying, maybe they would not have died if things were running well in that hospital. So our judiciary should be the last bastion of hope, the last place you go to.
Point of refuge.
Yes. That's why if you study all ancient systems, when you are doing literature, you find the people who passed judgment were revered in society. They were gods and goddesses.
Held in high regard.
Yeah. Even in Chinua Achebe's, things fall apart. The Gugus. You are not even, they are not supposed to be men. They are dressed in masks and things, regalia. They are not supposed to be men. And you go outside the Supreme Court, you see somebody naked there. Stuck naked. So when our judiciary doesn't serve the people, we are courting anarchy. Continue.
You're dancing with disaster.
Serious disaster.
So then again, is this the point where you invite now the jury spacer fight led by Nelson Harvey and Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi to sanitize our judiciary?
We have to do everything possible to ensure that our judiciary works. Everything possible.
Judicial surgery.
I have said, when I look at Njoki Ndongo, I want her to know she's a goddess.
Justice Jokindung.
Mother Kome must know she's a goddess.
Philomena Mwilu, you name it.
Yes. And the Supreme Court is a sanctuary of hope. The oracle. These are not supposed to be ordinary men and women.
Don't withdraw their security.
These people will determine whether we have a country or not. The very reason why we established the Supreme Court goes to the core of what I'm saying. When we almost finished ourselves in 2007, we said the reason why people were fighting and torching houses and doing all those inhuman things was because they could not see a place they could go to take their grievances. So we said we needed an independent police force, which you now call service. It should be force. Independent enough for you to know they can come and protect you without listening to who is in power, without being used.
Orders from above.
That's why we put up that independent police. So those who have messed that arrangement have really done the service to this country. We put the police there, independent, because of 207. We put the Supreme Court in our constitution because of 207, 208. So that if you have grievances after an election, you are not left in the position Tanzanians are left in, that you can't go anywhere. We want people to know they should not go to the streets once the election results have been announced that Ruto has won. There is a civilized route you take. Go to the Supreme Court. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying.
Sure.
That is what a civil society ought to be, where there's civil order. where we are not animals. The moment the judiciary abdicates its responsibility and behaves like other men in this country and worship money and conveniences and things like those, then we are inviting the Hobbesian state. And as the philosopher Hobbes said, that will be a state of nature where life is brutish and short.
There you have it from Herman Manyora. The judiciary in Kenya must play fidelity to the very purpose why it exists, and it must act blindfolded.
And you started with, I took you away until you forgot.
No.
You started with the governor of
Samburu, Lenol Kulala.
Samburu. First of all, EACC, you cannot submit a file to the DPP if you are not convinced this man has stolen county money.
You must have sufficient evidence.
Yes. Number two, the DPP cannot approve prosecution unless you can see what has come from EACC really is a very serious case. And to the judiciary, you cannot hide in procedural issues or the prosecutor didn't. You can get information out of the prosecutor. That's part of what my article is saying. The judiciary should not hide in the adversarial system we run this country. Nobody stops them from mixing adversarial and inquisitive. Nobody stops them. The judiciary, the bench, should be able to ask a prosecutor questions. When the prosecutor is hiding, trying to protect somebody by giving shoddy prosecution, the bench should smoke him out. What am I trying to say? I'm saying no governor ever steals this money through corruption in this country. There's no corruption in this country.
What is there then?
Theft.
Theft?
Theft. Raw theft. Raw. Wanachukua tu pesa ya serikali hivi na wengine wanachukua hata hapa naweka kwa account ya bibi yake. How do you need, how does a bench talk about prosecution? Where does prosecution come in?
So you award to EACC and DPP.
Mtu anachukua pesa anapatia contractor, the same contractor anamjengea nyumba Karen. How does the bench tell me about prosecution? This is raw theft.
Insufficient evidence.
Any of these governors can be prosecuted by a first-year student, first-year law student, successfully.
From you
and a magistrate, not even a judge. A magistrate should be able to jail these people. Because there's no case. Which case are we talking about? This is just theft. Mtu anachukua hiki kombe yake and we can see it. Governors just steal money openly. They don't even hide it. So the judges cannot talk about poor prosecution. The file could not have left EACC if it didn't have sufficient strength. And the DPP could not have agreed to prosecute if EACC didn't have a strong case. How many files do they return to EACC?
Bwana Igonga.
Wasitulete mchezo. Wasitubebe ufala. And this will come to an end. Mark my word.
In your lifetime?
Which lifetime? Tomorrow. And we shall not do it like Jerry Rawlings.
How would you do it?
There are modern ways of doing it. I have told you, let them steal. Let them be protected by the judiciary. Let them have the best lawyers who speak the best English in suits.
Senior counsels.
But there are days coming.
There
are days coming.
Uh-huh.
Any man, any woman who has stolen money in this country from the public will get all that money.
Regardless of your family name.
Na wataenda wote kamiti.
Watoto wa wakubwa.
Kamiti, tutatoa watu wengine kamiti. Hawa watu pickpockets wako kamiti. Tutawachapa tu makofi na kuambia rudi, tokeni hapa, toka kofi, pap, toka. Usiende hivi dole yako tutachunga sana. Next time tutakata. Enda nyumbani.
Madereva wa Super Metro.
Tokeni washenzi matatu jimu mlifanya nini? Toka. We are creating space.
Mosiri arrested me. Toka
nyinyi. The really thieves will go to committee. And the young men now who are graduating with low degrees and will be the ones prosecuting these people and jailing them.
These Gen Z lawyers.
Some of these palatial homes of theirs will be cancer centers. Tutaweka cancer center hapo nini, vitu kama vitu. Kwa hizi manyumba zao wamejenga zingine kwa eka 5. Nawahurumia sana. Thank you.
Some say Manyora is always angry at the rich because he's not a billionaire. He's just speaking from a point of envy.
No.
Diary of an angry man.
Do I look like I cannot be rich if I wanted? If I want to be a billionaire at all costs, do I look like I can't?
Story for another day. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Tune in to other editions with Evans Okinyi. While at it, subscribe to the channel and share this edition.